Finally, the end. After numerous setbacks, the departure date for the troubled Starliner spacecraft has been set, regardless of how it will return. In stark contrast to Boeing's struggles, SpaceX is celebrating new milestones with its latest Falcon 9 mission. Additionally, there's a glimmer of hope for the Viper lunar rover, which may be salvaged following NASA's cancellation decision. Join us as we delve into these updates on today's episode of Great SpaceX. As of now, the Starliner CFT-1 mission has been docked with the ISS for over 70 days, significantly exceeding initial expectations. The pressing question of when it will conclude has recently been addressed by journalist Eric Berger. While not an official source, Berger has a track record of accurate insights, such as his early prediction of NASA delaying Crew 9 to September. According to Berger's update, NASA has tentatively scheduled Starliner's undocking from the ISS for September 6th at the latest. Specifically, the targeted date for a crewed undock is September 2nd, with an uncrewed undock slated for September 6th. This schedule suggests that Starliner must leave the ISS in early September, with the difference between crewed and uncrewed undocking potentially indicating the spacecraft's current condition. According to Berger's recent revelations, which have a track record of accuracy, the Starliner spacecraft is expected to dock with the ISS for approximately 90 days. This aligns with NASA's previously extended schedule. The pressing question now is whether the two astronauts will return on Starliner. As of now, NASA has yet to reach a final decision regarding the Starliner spacecraft. The agency has decided to extend its testing and evaluation period by an additional week, with a particular focus on the spacecraft's RCS, which stands for Reaction Control Propulsion System. This extension reflects the complexity and ongoing issues with Starliner, and while the decision has been postponed, it was expected given the circumstances. The outcome concerning the return of the Starliner astronauts is anticipated to be clarified by the end of August. The tentative return dates are set for early September with two possible scenarios: a crewed undocking scheduled for September 2nd or an uncrewed undocking on September 6th. This timeline will determine whether the astronauts will return aboard Starliner or if an alternate arrangement will be required. We invite you to share your predictions in the comments below. Do you think Starliner will return with its crew on September 2nd, or will the spacecraft undock uncrewed on September 6th? To stay informed about SpaceX's latest developments and future updates, don't forget to like, share the video, and subscribe to our channel. Now, if Starliner returns with crew, we will have little choice but to hope for the safe return of the astronauts despite the numerous risks involved with the spacecraft. Although Boeing and Starliner's performance has been disappointing, the priority remains the safety of the astronauts. If Starliner returns without crew, NASA had initially planned for only 2 astronauts to be aboard Crew 9, freeing up space for Butch and Suni to return early next year. However, recent briefings suggest that if an earlier return is necessary, the 2 astronauts might return on Crew 8, which would then have 6 members due to the absence of pressure suits. To ensure safety, it might be better for them to return on Crew 9, even though this would disrupt the original mission plan. This scenario would alleviate previous issues with ISS congestion. The early undocking of the Starliner would create space for Crew 9 to launch in late September, followed by Crew 8's return. Consequently, the ISS would regain its normal operating capacity, demonstrating that without Starliner, operations become smoother and more manageable. The future of the Starliner spacecraft appears increasingly uncertain following its current mission. Despite NASA's decision to continue licensing Starliner for crewed launches, the spacecraft faces significant challenges. The Starliner 1 mission has been postponed to the latter half of 2025, leading to a compressed schedule for subsequent missions. Given its substantial $4.5 billion development cost, there are concerns that Starliner may only complete a limited number of missions, potentially just 6, under the commercial crew program before it is phased out or replaced. The space race is becoming more competitive, with SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft maintaining a dominant position and the upcoming launch of Sierra Nevada's Dream Chaser adding another formidable contender. These developments could further overshadow Starliner, exacerbating its difficulties in securing future missions. As we await further developments, it's crucial to see how Starliner performs upon its return early next month. The spacecraft's performance in the coming weeks will be pivotal in determining its viability and future in the increasingly competitive space exploration landscape. Now, moving on to Falcon 9 and its recent mission, on August 15th at 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, SpaceX achieved another successful launch from SLC-40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. The mission deployed two Worldview Legion satellites designated Worldview Legion 3 and 4 for Maxar Technologies. As is customary for Falcon 9 missions, the first stage landed successfully at Landing Zone 1 approximately 8 minutes after liftoff. This landing marked the 16th successful touchdown of the B-1076 booster, underscoring Falcon 9's impressive reusability record and highlighting SpaceX's continued commitment to advancing rocket recovery technology. During the mission, the Falcon 9's second stage proceeded with its primary task of placing the Worldview Legion satellites into Sun synchronous orbit, or SSO for short. About 46 minutes after launch, SpaceX confirmed the successful deployment of the first Worldview Legion satellite. Just over an hour later, the second satellite was also successfully deployed. This successful deployment marks a significant milestone for the Worldview Legion constellation, which aims to enhance Earth observation capabilities with its high-resolution multispectral imagery. With these deployments, the latest additions to the Worldview Legion constellation are now operational. These satellites were launched into a mid-inclination orbit covering areas between 45 degrees north and 45 degrees south latitude, which includes most populated regions. This orbit allows for frequent revisits over a broader range of latitudes and complements the earlier two satellites launched on May 2nd. The Worldview Legion constellation, consisting of 6 satellites, will see the remaining 2 satellites launched by Falcon 9 later this year. This ongoing collaboration strengthens the partnership between SpaceX and Maxar Technologies. This satellite constellation will significantly enhance Earth observation capabilities. Maxar representatives noted, when all 6 Worldview Legion satellites are launched, it will triple Maxar Intelligence's capacity to collect 30-centimeter class, or 12 inches, and multispectral imagery. The full Maxar constellation of 10 electro-optical satellites will image the most rapidly changing areas on Earth as frequently as every 20 to 30 minutes from sunup to sundown. For SpaceX, this mission marks several notable achievements: the 364th Falcon 9 launch and the rocket's 10th mission since its resumption on July 27th. The pace of 10 missions in 19 days signifies a launch every 2 days. Additionally, this is the 79th Falcon 9 mission and the 80th for the Falcon rocket family this year, a major milestone towards the goal of 148 launches. With 3.5 months remaining in the year, SpaceX's end-of-year activity will be crucial in reaching this ambitious target. Next, let's discuss the Viper lunar rover, which may potentially be rescued from cancellation by NASA. Intuitive Machines, a company that collaborated with SpaceX to launch a lunar lander earlier this year, is now working to keep the Viper mission alive. The company is assembling a coalition of organizations that could assume responsibility for the NASA lunar rover mission, proposing to launch it on one of their landers. Intuitive Machines executives have indicated their intention to respond to a request for information from NASA regarding the takeover of the Viper mission. Steve Altemus, CEO of Intuitive Machines, emphasized the significance of the Viper mission, stating, "Our position is that Viper science is crucial to lunar researchers and the future of the Artemis program. It plays a key role in prospecting for volatiles and entrained water ice in the lunar soil. This potential rescue operation underscores the ongoing commitment to lunar exploration and the strategic importance of Viper in advancing our understanding of the moon's resources. The collaboration between Intuitive Machines and other organizations could provide a critical path forward, ensuring that the valuable scientific objectives of the Viper mission are achieved." In the RFI, NASA outlined that prospective partners would be responsible for final testing, additional work on the rover, delivering it to the lunar surface, and operating it once there. Companies interested in taking over the project must also complete all remaining processes with Viper before it becomes operational. Currently, the rover has finished production and is undergoing environmental testing. If Intuitive Machines successfully takes over the Viper mission, they plan to develop a lander called Nova D to transport the rover. However, they face challenges in finding a suitable partner for this project and are dealing with financial strains due to substantial investments in the IM-2 and IM-3 missions. Despite these hurdles, supporting Intuitive Machines in this endeavor is crucial. The Viper rover was developed at significant expense, funded by taxpayers, and abandoning it now would be unfortunate. Allowing a company to take over could be a viable solution, potentially opening opportunities for SpaceX, which would likely be the launch provider for Intuitive Machines. The Falcon Heavy, originally selected for the Griffin mission, could still be used to launch Viper. In the end, with or without NASA's direct involvement, SpaceX and Intuitive Machines could continue advancing lunar exploration. Well, folks, that's about it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and as always, this has been Kevin from Great SpaceX. Until next time, keep looking up.